Go ahead, ma'am.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. My son's death in custody, along with so many others, is a direct result of this court's willful negligence to apply data-driven solutions. How many more feasibility studies does this county need to waste money on before actually applying the expert advice given to us? Had the $3 million spent on Justice Management Institute's recommendations been implemented back in 2020, we would not be having this conversation about overcrowding and outsourcing, and my sons would never have died in LaSalle Corrections. Now, it feels like you are adding salt to the wound by hiring the same CGL company that has a long reputation of bribery, discriminatory, and unsafe practices at their facilities. And if that wasn't
Go
enough,
ahead, ma'am.
here in Texas, CGL's parent company was subjecting hundreds of military families to hazardous conditions like dangerous mold, lead-based paint, and rodent and insect infestation in their substandard housing. Is this who you want to trust with the lives of our children? Thank you.
Could you please state your name for the record?
My name is Sarah Knight.
Ma'am, thank you for sharing your experience again. I know it must be painful. This is the first time I've heard you speak about the CGL issue. Would you mind just expanding on that a little bit?
Sure. Let me get my notes. So the definition of the feasibility study, it's a critical pre-project assessment designed to determine if proposed venture is technically, economically, or operationally viable. It defines potential risk, cost, and benefits to inform decision-making, aiming to ensure resources, efficiencies, and success before major investments are made. A feasibility study only works if you are willing to engage with your reality. Expanding a jail that has not met its state minimum standards will not help the conditions of those that are incarcerated, but instead force more people to suffer.
Thank you. So I know we're going to talk about this more later, but just I know the speaker's probably going to have to leave. So does this have to do with having
I
a new?
to wait for a while, but once you guys had to take lunch, I had to go eat myself.
I understand. Just is this Director Mills, or I don't know who the right person is, to do with the new jail facility? They say yes. So I've said this before, but I really want to mark my words on this. I probably won't be here for that. If we have a second facility and we don't close the first one, we're going to fill them both. And so I know the advocates know that. And my request, and I'll make it here again, is as a proposal comes to build a new facility, in theory, is more humane, there should also be a proposal at the same time on what we're going to do with the first one and the JPC and the women's jail, because they call it the women's center, but it's a women's jail, and the joint processing center, but it's got jail cells. So don't forget about the names. It's a little bit Orwellian. What are we going to do so we're not just incarcerating more people? It's like the freeways, you widen the freeways, you still have traffic, you just get more traffic. You increase the jail, you're going to put more people in it. I'm not just saying it, is that the academic papers say this.
Absolutely.
So anyway, so my official request is that those two things come at the same time, and I've made that request before over the years and we've voted on it.
Yeah, we understand, Judge. I mean, I think the JGAC is taking all those requests seriously. I don't think we're doing anything today that's contrary to what you're talking about. So I don't think we have as staff any issue with that request.
No, I don't think it's contrary, but the items that come on this, there is never a mention of how are we going to not keep the other facility open. That's all I'm saying.
That's
Exactly.
So even though we've talked about it, there's no indication that that's actually going to happen. And if it doesn't come at the same time, we're going to vote to approve this, and we're going to keep them both.
I think at this point, we are looking to take a data-driven approach. I think the thing that's special about the way we're going about this project is that we're looking at community solutions also that offset the necessary footprint in the jail. And these contracts will be getting us off the ground.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have a problem with this.
I understand that we don't know enough yet to know what we're going to need, if we're going to need a new facility, if it's going to need to be a smaller facility, if it needs to be a specialized facility. These are things why we have these consultants coming in. And I think the way that we're going about this, again, looking at things that we could do in the community that would offset the need, will help guide us in that. But yes, the contract would include if it is a total replacement facility, what we should do with the old. That would
Yeah,
include.
no, I hear you, and you're very good at your job, and I agree with everything you guys are saying. To be clear, my point is we do not need more jail cells than we already have. That's my point.
Correct.
And that because what that'll do is we're just going to fill that, and we're working on reducing the jail population, so we know that can go down. And so that's the motion I made a while ago. And I like the data driven, but remember that early childhood education was data driven and it was evaluated. It was completely ignored. So you guys are going to have to mobilize because data driven doesn't mean anything to some of us here. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.